And the Broncos, well, they've got off to a great start as well under their new coach, Michael Maguire. And Madge, well, he joins us on Sportsday for a Monday night. How are you, Madge?
Good, boys. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, Thursday night, Madge, I know you've been in clubland for a long time as an assistant and head coach. You've coached at Origin. You've coached at Test level. Were you nervous Thursday night getting back into it?
I was probably more anxious than anything. So that's why, you put so much into it and, you sort of go into the unknown a little bit because obviously it's a start. But I sort of knew that there was something bobbling away with the players and, how they've gone about their pre-season. But to get a performance like that was pretty pleasing. It's just taking that forward now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it could have all come tumbling down and disrupted your preparation with Cyclone on the weekend or throughout the week. But we didn't hear anything, Madge, from the Brisbane Broncos camp around the Cyclone and family concerns. Did yourself and Dave Donaghy, did you just get on the front foot early and just nip it in the butt?
Yeah, we did speak about it a fair bit, and we had a lot of communication. I tipped my hat to the club, to be honest. So that's the way they sort of went about things, and spoke to all the partners and wides and made sure everyone was safe. And obviously, the conversations were free flowing, and it made the players feel pretty at ease, I guess, with what was being said in the background. But they had a job to do, and they wanted to make sure that they performed for everyone that was back home, because they knew they were going through a fair bit, and which is a good motivating factor along the way as well.
Yeah, well, there were certainly some performances put on by your team, Madge, and probably he was on par with the best on the field. Corey Pakes, your number 9, proved to be the right call. He scored a great try of Payne Haas, set up the first try, going down the short side, faking to the open. He played some good footy.
He was good. Pakes, been, like all our hookers, actually. I've got to credit all of them. I mean, they're a competitive bunch and they've really pushed each other every single day when we've been out here. And it was obviously well talked about that we had a number of them, and I just felt Pakes was the right man off the back of a really good pre-season, and he backed that up the way he played. He did some really good things there with their middles, and he got down close to the line. He put that little play on there with Big Payne, which was really nice. And I've seen that at training. So I guess what we're able to put out there on the field was things there that the players had practiced. So that was, from a coach's point of view, pretty pleasing as well.
Yeah, well, another thing from a coach's point of view, we were just talking to one of our colleagues, Joel Kane, prior to this interview, and he mentioned the first effort by Selwyn Cobbo to chase down. He didn't get there, but the first try that was scored by Dominic Young, Selwyn came from the far wing and almost got him in the corner. But those sort of efforts that's what premiership teams do, right? Yeah,
well, that was great. And, what Selly was, so disappointed he didn't get him because he put a great effort and he did get across there. And, we sort of popped out of our system there, and all of a sudden they got through. And Sully come from the far side and came across, and I just said, if you keep doing that, then you're going to turn up with some big plays for your teammates. So, doing that is, what I think they're all trying to do for each other.
What impresses you more, Madge? Is it an effort like that, or is it maybe the Corey Pakes try off a Payne Haas? Like what gets you more excited as a coach?
Look, probably the effort, really. I mean, that's Pakes's stuff that he did down close to the line. It's what Pakesy does that I guess people in the crowd don't see. All the little things that he does as well as the reasons why, I went with someone like Pakesy. And Sally was just on display there at that moment in time that, I feel that that's what the players enjoy doing for each other. And, we've got to bottle that because that's, what the good teams are doing.
Hey, Madge, now late in the first half, before he took Payne Haas off, I thought it was one of the big plays, but it doesn't surprise you with this guy. I thought it was one of the big plays of the night. He made this run about halfway mark. He bounced across the field to the left-hand side, the opposite side where you'd be sitting. He got an offload. He hit the ground. He jumped up off the ground. He pushed himself outside Benny Hunt, who put a kick down, and he made the first tackle on kick chase. Now, it doesn't surprise you because I've spoken to you on so many occasions how such a big man can do such extraordinary things on the field and on the training paddock.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it many a time out loud, I suppose, to you guys that, how remarkable Payno is as a player, but as a person as well. And, it was really nice to see him perform the way he has because he's put in a really good pre-season. And but that's what, Payno, everyone probably expects to see that from Payne Haas. And, that was a great effort. I mean, he's just working really hard for his teammates. And, his leadership has really started to shine. Obviously, from my time there last year with him, I really enjoyed that. And now actually working with him and seeing how he goes about his day-to-day stuff, there's the reasons why he can be one of the best.
Well, when you talk about that, you were at Canberra where, arguably one of the greatest front rows of all time, Lazo, came through as a young fella and won premierships there. I mean, there are a lot of same attributes, but how they command the respect from their opposition, I mean, it's along the same parallels without the premierships at the moment, Madge.
Yeah, and I think I guess I've looked at the Bronx in the past, and when Lazo sort of arrived here, they've had plenty of big names, Shane Webke and Petro and Gigi and all those sort of forwards. They've had a good platform, and to have someone like Paddy and Payne together, and to see Kobe play the way he did, off the back of how hard he's worked in the pre-season, it was bloody awesome. And we've got to take that forward, but Payne just demands that every day at training, and there's the reasons why he turns up and he plays the way he does. But he's got one hell of an engine.
He sure does. He's great to watch. Now, your halves combination, they're only going to get better as the year goes on, but you must be wrapped with the start of the season for Benny and Adam Reynolds. Yeah,
Matty, I mean, you said it. I mean, they haven't had a lot of time together just due to the circumstances of the pre-season with Adam. But the more and more I sort of have them on the field, and the more you can see they're connecting together, and with their experiences they've got, just that calmness too. Like, you've got to play out the game, and when they control the game, to have two of those guys out there, both with a kicking option, is pretty handy. So then we can sort of play and strike at both sides of the field. So, but yeah, the conversations that they're having with all their experience have been really enjoyable to be around.
Now, Madge, you were fortunate enough to get a charter flight back to Toowoomba. So to our New Zealand and New South Wales listeners, it's a good hour and a half, 2 hours on a bus from Brisbane to Toowoomba up on the range, a little bit like the Blue Mountains into Sydney. So when you're on the plane and you get home at 3 o'clock in the morning, and a lot of them may have been asleep, I'm not quite sure, but after a win, what's the most noticeable voice that you always hear on the plane or the bus? Like, who's the one voice you can always hear as a coach?
Oh, yeah. I was a fair bit of chirp, so it did sort of go across the team. But our captain's pretty chirpy, old Reno, so he likes to have a bit of a chirp. But Reece, he's a character as well. But across them, there's good banter, and obviously when you have a good performance like that, there's a lot of smiling going on. But we were pretty fortunate with the circumstance that the club, went above and beyond to be able to get us home, and considering the circumstance of everyone back in Brisbane and what was going on, we're pretty lucky. So to fly up to Toowoomba and then having a bus down, mate, it didn't worry any of us. Off the back of obviously what we did down in Sydney, and to come home to all the fans that are up here doing it a bit tough. Hopefully we put a bit of a smile on their face along the way.
Now, mate, you're heading down to Canberra, your old stomping ground. They're coming off a very good win in the first round. They're going to be minus a couple of players, but what are the things that you've spoken to the boys about? What have they got to get right this week to parlay that win last week into another win?
Yeah. We just need to build a lot of consistency about how we want to play. We've obviously found the style and the things that we want to do, but being able to do that on repetition now is the key. You go down there and every game's different. There's different challenges or battles that are going to come at you, and we've got to be prepared even better than where we were in round one. Because obviously people get to have a look at us now and they do their own thing about what's going on. But for us, we're pretty keen on just focusing on how we're playing. And we've got things there that we've definitely discussed around our game that we want to get better. So we're going to chase that this week.
Well, there were rumours that on the bus from Toowoomba to Brisbane, you were singing karaoke up the front. Not sure how true that is, but we're going to run with it anyway. The Canberra Raiders.
That's weighing off. You obviously haven't heard me sing.
Yeah, Canberra Raiders, 6:35 p.m. Queensland time, 7:35 New South Wales time, Saturday this week at GIO Stadium. Not Seaford Oval, lucky enough. Worst field in the history of rugby league. Hey, Madge, well done round one, and good luck this week.
Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me on. Cheers.
For more like that, follow the Sportsday with Sats and Rats socials and listen live on SEN Radio.